Have you ever heard the story of a soldier who went to war armed only with faith? It sounds like something out of a movie, but for one young man, it was his reality. This is the incredible story of a Christian soldier whose unwavering belief not only saved his own life but also the lives of his entire platoon, in a way that defied all explanation. Our story begins in the chaos and uncertainty of a battlefield. A young soldier, let's call him David, was known throughout his unit for one peculiar habit. While his comrades checked their gear, cleaned their rifles, and counted their ammunition, David would be found in a quiet corner, head bowed, reading a small, worn Bible. It was his constant companion, a source of strength in a world filled with fear. Some of his fellow soldiers would tease him, calling him preacher or asking if he expected prayers to stop bullets. But David never wavered. He'd simply smile and say, "This is the most powerful weapon I have." Little did they know how true those words would turn out to be. The platoon was given a high-stakes mission to secure a heavily fortified enemy position deep in hostile territory. The intelligence was spotty, and everyone felt a knot of dread in their stomachs. As they prepared to move out under the cloak of darkness, the platoon's sergeant, a seasoned veteran named Miller, pulled David aside. "Listen, kid," he said, his voice gruff but with a hint of concern. "I respect your beliefs, I really do. But out there, you need to rely on your training and your rifle, understand?" David nodded respectfully. "I will, Sergeant, but I'll be relying on my faith too." The mission started smoothly, but soon, everything went wrong. As they approached the enemy encampment, they walked straight into a perfectly laid ambush. The night exploded in a terrifying symphony of gunfire and explosions. The platoon was pinned down, caught in a deadly crossfire with no clear path to safety. One by one, men started to fall. Panic began to set in. They were outgunned, outnumbered, and completely exposed. Sergeant Miller was desperately trying to rally his men, shouting orders over the deafening roar of battle, but their situation looked hopeless. It seemed like only a matter of time before they were all wiped out. In the midst of this chaos, as bullets whizzed past his head and dirt kicked up all around him, David did something extraordinary. He found a small bit of cover behind a rocky outcrop, took a deep breath, and opened his Bible. His hands were shaking, but his focus was absolute. He wasn't just reading. He was praying with an intensity he had never known before. He prayed for guidance, for protection, for a way out for him and his brothers in arms. His comrades, those who could see him, thought he had lost his mind. "What is he doing?" one of them screamed at the sergeant. "He's given up." But David hadn't given up. As he prayed, a strange sense of calm washed over him. He felt a powerful, unexplainable certainty about what he had to do. It wasn't a voice, but more like a deep, internal knowing, an instruction. "Get up, run to the ridge on the left." Now, the ridge was a barren, exposed stretch of ground. Running there would be suicide. Every bit of his military training screamed against it. But the feeling was overwhelming, a divine command that drowned out all fear and logic. He trusted it. Without a second thought, David leaped to his feet. "Follow me," he yelled, his voice cutting through the noise. "To the ridge, now!" He didn't wait to see if anyone was following. He just ran. He sprinted across the open ground, expecting to be cut down at any second. But miraculously, Not a single bullet touched him. It was as if he were invisible. The enemy gunfire seemed to go right around him. Sergeant Miller and the rest of the platoon, seeing David running unscathed, were stunned into a moment of disbelief. Then, with nothing left to lose, they scrambled to their feet and followed him. One by one, they sprinted across the deadly open field, following the path David had blazed. As the last man reached the relative safety of the ridge, they all looked back in astonishment. Not a single soldier who followed David had been hit during that mad dash. It was impossible. They had run directly through the heart of the kill zone. From their new vantage point on the ridge, they had a clear tactical advantage. They could see the enemy's positions, allowing them to return fire effectively and coordinate a successful counterattack. The tide of the battle had turned in a single, inexplicable moment. They fought back with renewed vigor and managed to neutralize the threat, securing the area and saving what was left of their platoon. When the dust settled, the soldiers gathered around David, their earlier mockery replaced with awe and reverence. Sergeant Miller, a man who had seen everything in his years of service, walked over to David, his face a mixture of confusion and gratitude. He put a hand on his shoulder. "I don't know what that was, kid," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "I can't explain it, but you saved us, all of us." He then noticed something. He pointed to David's chest. "You're hit." David looked down. There, lodged squarely in the front pocket of his fatigues, was a spent enemy bullet. It was pressed deep into the cover of the small Bible he always carried, the very book he was holding just moments before his desperate run. He pulled it out, his fingers tracing the indentation. The bullet had torn through the cover and several pages but had been stopped, inches from his heart. It had stopped right at Psalm 91, the soldier's psalm. He read the words aloud, his voice steady. "He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day." The platoon fell silent. In that moment, on that dusty battlefield, believers and non-believers alike witnessed something they could not deny. It was a miracle. David's unwavering faith, symbolized by that little book, had not only formed a physical shield that saved his own life, but it had also inspired a course of action that led his entire platoon out of certain death. He didn't just carry a weapon of prayer. He became a conduit for a power far greater than any earthly weapon. The story of David and his Bible became a legend within the military. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest strength doesn't come from what you can hold in your hands, but from what you hold in your heart. It's a testament to the idea that in our darkest and most desperate moments, faith can provide a shield, a guide, and a hope that defies all logic. What do you think? Was it a one-in-a-million coincidence, or was it a true act of divine intervention? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stories like this show us that the world is full of wonders we may not always understand. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible true stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay inspired.